In live. We about to go in on this Napoleon Hill reading, Grow Rich with Peace of Mind. We just continuing the reading. I appreciate most of y'all for tapping in. Really all of y'all, man, showing the support, whether it's good or bad. I appreciate y'all taking time out y'all day to tap in with your boy Chuck and either enjoy the reading or criticize the reading. However you want to do it, man. That's up to you. Whatever energy you coming with. But we pushing positivity and we're trying to become better people, man, from what we used to be to who we are now. So we're gonna go right in, man. It's your boy Chuck. Is there a definite connection between wealthy and having peace of mind? There is a connection, but it is not absolute. There certainly are poor people who have peace of mind, but they are far more rare than folklore would have us believe. You need not be a millionaire, but without sufficient money, you are cut off from much in life that sustains the spirit. If you are continually worrying about where your next meal is to come from, when will you be able to get your shoes repaired? How are you going to pay your dentist bill? How many more years your house can go without paint? You have no peace of mind. If you lack if your lack of funds forces you to live in a shabby neighborhood so that you constantly worry about the influence upon your children, you have no peace of mind. If you cannot occasionally buy and cherish something that is beautiful, if you cannot afford a vacation you really enjoy, if you cannot partake of a motion picture or a stage show which you know is very much worthwhile, your mind does not have the chance to satisfy itself. Money brings much good into your life and much that nobody should have to do without. It is no surprise that there are many rich people who enjoy peace of mind, but there are many who do not. If the main purpose of a fortune is to make its possessor worry about keeping his fortune, peace of mind goes out the window. One of the failures which have illuminated my knowledge and strengthened my soul came when I was quite wealthy. I simply became poor, quite poor. The circumstances are revealing. Perhaps as a compensation for the dirt poor days of my youth, I became enamored of big houses, big cars, lush acreage, and similar symbols of wealth. Perhaps I was merely in line with my times, which seemed to demand that when a man had money, he had to display it. Today's millionaires are much less ostentatious. Ostentatious, my bad. At any rate, my books are selling well. I had made a name as a trainer of salesmen. Other enterprises prospered, and so it seemed imperative that I must drive a Rolls Royce. Soon I had a pair of Rolls Royces. Soon after this, I cradled my cars in a big garage on a large estate in the Catskill Mountains of North New York City. I saw that estate as a monument to my achievements. The estate called for servants, for a maintenance staff, for foremen over the maintenance men. It called for lavish dinner parties, the expense of which would have made John D. Rockefeller groan. Once I gave out a general invitation to a barbecue dinner, expecting that perhaps 100 people would show. Over 3,000 attended. The highway was tied up with the traffic jam for 2 miles each way, and the traffic patrolman never did forgive me. The clubhouse on the estate could sleep 40 guests in comfort and was seldom without a full load. Once the overflow swept into my private quarters, I arrived home hoping for some peace of mind and found a stranger asleep in my bed. Moreover, he had appropriated the only pair of pajamas I had available. Let us draw the curtain on the Hill estate. It went for a song shortly after the crash of 29. When I got over the initial shock, how relieved I felt, how peaceful, how newly powerful was the mind which had been overlaid with worry. Three of my friends who combined assets were less than the amount I lost when I lost my estate did not have faith in the great principle that every adversity has within it the seed of an equivalent benefit. One jumped off a high building on Wall Street, one fired a bullet into his brain, and the third man was hauled out of the Hudson River 6 weeks after he had jumped in. I made money again, of course. Of course I did. The principles of the science of achievement saw to that. My lost estate had not lost with it my knowledge that any goal set up by a human mind can be achieved by that mind's possessor. Ever since I have lived comfortably, but without show. What good is money when it becomes a millstone? Make sure your work and your money benefits someone besides yourself. One of the positive results that came after I had firmly closed the door on my experiences in the Catskill Mountains was this. I found time in which to write more books. These books have benefited me and they have benefited mankind. And so they have benefited me with more than money. When Andrew Carnegie decided to use his great wealth to found free libraries, he greatly increased his peace of mind. Henry Ford was pretty tough about giving away his money when at length he learned it was possible to find people who deserved it and would use it well. I am sure he felt the same quiet satisfaction. There is another important principle which ensures that as your wealth grows, so will your peace of mind. Do not hurt any other person in order that you may succeed. That's deep because a lot of people step on toes to get up. And that's real. And that's real, man. You don't have to step on nobody's toes to get up in life, man. You could do some fair business and really benefit and really be up. I am thankful I learned this early. Let me just go back and read that again. Do not hurt any other person in order that you may succeed. Message. I am thankful I learned this early in life. When a man discovers himself and with it the ways in which he can earn big money, now and then he will see a way to put some extra money, some extra weight on his sides of the scales, like the butcher's hand, which is weighed along with the hamburger. It wouldn't be noticed. I could have added to my wealth by dishonest means on many an occasion, but I would have lost my peace of mind. Among the men I interviewed after I accepted my commission from Andrew Carnegie were several who were little better than pirates on the business world. In most cases, I did not know this at the time. Later events often showed how much they had given up when, in effect, they stole from others or ruthlessly ruined others in order to aggrandize themselves. Some went to prison. Some stayed out of prison on legal technicalities. But who has peace of mind when no honest man will look him in the face? Today is the day of the large service corporation, often which a tremendous office staff. A man in a factory is likely to be judged by the kind of work he puts out, but a man in an office can push himself upward with various tricks of personality, tricks of paperwork, tricks of getting the other fellow to assume responsibility for mistakes, and so forth. To step up the ladder by stepping on another man's face is to make a mockery of the money you earn. There is no peace of mind in this, and often there is no health, no ability to be happy, no harmony at home. You can be left with the ability to buy what money can buy, and a degree of unhappiness rather more acute than a beggar's. I have spoken to several men in my classes who confessed they had cut many corners of honesty and business morality. Now they wish they could make a new start. But was it possible? When they attained the only true wealth, honesty earned through wealth, would they not still be made miserable by the tensions of guilt? I assured them they would not if only they closed the door on the past. Let them consider dishonesty a mistake, even a disaster, but a past disaster. This is an important point with many ramifications, not necessarily dishonesty, but also many other negative state of mind held in the past can be left in the past, just as one leaves physical circumstances. I showed these men that now they were finding a new self, the past could not matter. The world is full of examples of men who learn from their own bad conscience or even in prison that no dishonesty ever pays. The lesson learned is a lesson learned. And for most men, there is time enough and world enough to start again and build a glorious fortune, glorious future. For an exception, I give you Al Capone. During the Great Depression, this notorious gangster set up free soup kitchens at which he fed numbers of the unemployed. He was fond of calling attention to these soup kitchens as proof of the good he was doing his fellow man. Of course, I speak of no such mockeries. Rather, let us think of men like O. Henry, who served a jail sentence for a crime. Surely it helped him at last to find himself, for it was afterward he became known for his wonderful stories with all their deep understanding of human nature. Close the door on the past and keep it closed. All right, I'm gonna stop right here, and we're gonna take off from this later on today. I'm gonna do a few readings today. I'm gonna also upload some shorts, just as some good points that I've been picking up as I've been reading. Because these really matter, man. And you know, you want to keep some of these points in your brain because when shit happens, it's good to have a reference point or something to kind of, you know what I mean, ease your tensions in that moment. You know, so I'll cover those later in a series of shorts. Hopefully y'all check it out, man. But I appreciate y'all tapping in with your boy Chuck. You know, it's been good to have y'all, man. Peace.